We've got some Vancouver Canucks updates from yesterday that revolve around some of the more important prospects, trade chips, and executives on the team. We'll be diving into Conor Garland. We'll be talking about Gavin Mckenna. We'll also talking about Ivar Stenberg and his story so far. But in order to help us out with what's going on in Canucks Nation, I wanted to turn our attention to Donnie and not Donnie and Dolly. This is Halford and Bruff. Dollywall was a guest on Halford and Bruff earlier yesterday morning on Friday. That's usually what happens on 6:50 in the mornings. Dolly is always a guest, and it's always an interesting time. So, big shout out over to the Halbro crew, as well as shout out to Canucks News Summaries, who went out there and summarized the Dollywall radio hit. As you can see by the preview, there are a ton of images over here, and we're going to go out there and read a whole bunch of these notes because I wanted to give my opinions on some of these things. So, opening up with the culture issue, this is what Rick Dollywall goes out there and talks about. Last year for the Vancouver Canucks was a gong show, and this year is no better. That's funny. Even with JT Miller apart from this franchise, it is still a gong show, and it still has not gotten any better. Now, to be fair, the team is last in the league, so I can understand if morale, team personnel, and feelings are not at an all-time high. But let's continue. Dollywall says here, the Canucks don't have enough leaders. Mix in the dressing room has been wrong for years. So, a lot of the guys, they're just not making the right salad here. Tocchet missed Nikita Zadorov and Ian Cole, two leaders whose leadership veteran presence was very much valued in the Canucks organization. The Canucks also would have preferred a player with a letter on their jersey or who has been with the organization for a long time to say what Blueger said to the media, but there's not enough who care. Now, I don't know about you, but that point seems like a pretty uncomfortable thing for Vancouver Canucks fans to try and process. Yes, it's true that Teddy Blueger called the team out and he said some really true, harsh things in the media about the state of the Canucks, but Vancouver wanted other guys to say that. Players with a letter, players who had been here for longer, but there's not enough who care. That last point is quite telling about the state of the franchise at the moment. Dollywall says that Sherwood and Garland are character guys. One already got traded, and the other might get traded too. Management is responsible for not fixing the dressing room. Dollywall then goes out there and questions Teddy Blueger's interest in staying with the organization, given how bad the organization's situation is, and then other guys in the dressing room would say the same thing that Blueger said. Now, it's kind of interesting. One point says that there's not enough guys who care to say what Blueger said. The last point on this graphic says other guys in the dressing room would say the same thing. So, okay, we're not going to go out there and question it. Anyways, I don't really feel like Teddy Blueger has a reason to stay with the Vancouver Canucks either way. The guy's just come back from injury, he missed out on the entire year, and the Canucks found themselves in last place by the time he got back. He started playing, he scored some points, scored some goals, now he's going to be a number one center at the Olympics. This guy's increasing his trade value. He can go out there and win another cup this year, honestly. Teddy Blueger is just that versatile as a hockey player. Let's move on to the trade plans part of Vancouver's Dollywall update. It'll be a different trade market after the Olympic break. The Canucks are no longer the only team selling. Lots of teams have more attractive players than what the Canucks can offer. For example, the Flames, they're trying to move Nazem Kadri, but teams want Calgary to retain. There is interest in Conor Garland. Dollywall doesn't get the sense that Garland wants out, but he does think the Canucks want to explore trading him and see what they can get for him. Lots of teams see value in Conor Garland. He does have a no-move clause. Later on, the Canucks News Summaries thing says that he has a no-move right now, which is not technically correct if you head over to Conor Garland. His contract to be has a no-move clause. It's starting in 26-27, but right now, he doesn't have anything. So the Canucks have the ability to trade Conor Garland right now to whichever team for whatever. It isn't until July 1st that Garland will have a say. The the radio hit says that Garland took on a leadership role in training camp. They didn't come remotely close to trading Evander Kane. He's expected to have a stronger market at the trade deadline as teams like his playoff record. Dhaliwal mentions how the Canucks need to keep veterans around, but it is pointed out that the veterans are a part of the culture problem and others can be signed as free agents. Management is very scared of trading veterans because they don't think they can sign any veterans as free agents. They have a bad reputation of signing players and then trading them quickly. Gee, I wonder who started that reputation, eh? It's almost like that's literally what y'all have been doing the past few years. Remember Danton Heinen? Yeah. Teddy Blueger's comments resonated throughout the NHL. It might be the first year in franchise history that the Canucks will not have a 20-goal scorer on the roster over a full season. Well, that's because you traded them away. You traded Kiefer Sherwood away. You traded Quinn Hughes. Not saying that Quinn's a 20-goal scorer, but obviously he helps in building those kinds of players on the team. Just think about it, man. Garland, DeBrusk, Besser, Kane, none of these guys hit 20 goals over the course of the year. That's crazy. No wonder Vancouver is scared of trading away veterans because they're scared that they can't sign anybody to replace him. What a weird, asinine thought for an NHL team to be able to think. You want to sign veterans? Just sell them on the idea of making money. Offer whatever Luke Shen $6 million a year to come over. Offer whichever veterans are available twice the going rate because it's not like you have any cap to spend up to at this point. That's my solution, at least. It works in franchise mode. I don't know if it'd work in NHL reality. Hey, take this free agent that's worth $1 million and sign him to $6 million over 1 year just to entice him to play in your organization. Does that set a bad standard? Maybe. But is it what you need to do? Maybe so as well. Let's go out there and read the last part of the Dhaliwal radio hit. Off-season management changes. Right now, the Canucks have no interest in firing Adam Foote, and he's got 2 years left on his contract at $1.5 million. You know what? That's actually fine. Tank the next few years. Foote's a terrible head coach, doesn't get any positive results, cannot manage the team in its entirety. It's like the last joke that Quinn Hughes put on the Vancouver Canucks. Hey, if you want to keep me around, bring on Adam Foote as the head coach and maybe I'll stay. And then they do it and then he leaves anyway. Now the Canucks are stuck with him for 2 more years. It's going to be a long 2 years. I hope the rest of my NHL fandom teams can actually do well and we can make videos about them instead. But let me know your thoughts about Foote sticking around for 2 years. Rutherford and Alvin, they have term left in their contracts, so doesn't seem like they are prone to being moved either. And then speaking about the future, Dhaliwal says the Canucks have heavily scouted Gavin McKenna and they love him. He is high on every draft board. Obviously, Ivar, Stenberg, and McKenna are high on the Canucks board. And Dhaliwal says he's been told that Alvin is traveling to Sweden to watch Ivar Stenberg. That's great, eh? Like, Alvin has a chance to go over to Italy to check out the Olympics. He's like, nah, sorry, I'm going to check out Stenberg instead. The Canucks liking Gavin McKenna is also news. I mean, obviously, most teams would like him, but it hasn't really been talked about in the Vancouver side of things the past few weeks. You would expect there to be more Vancouver McKenna buzz from the media because Vancouver has been last place for so long, but by all accounts, we were hearing that the Canucks were interested in Stenberg, they like Keaton Verhoff, they like Tynan Lawrence. Gavin McKenna's name hasn't popped up actually as a Vancouver Canucks person of interest until yesterday. Maybe that situation in the Doggy's Pub or whatever it was called really did spark up more interest here. It's literally like Kevin Bieksa fighting his way to get a contract. With that said, though, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about all these Canucks notes from Conor Garland's inevitable trade, potential trade, I guess I could say, to Gavin McKenna, Ivar Stenberg, and Adam Foote sticking around? How do you feel about these Canucks notes? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.